Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Chapter 75. When we last left our heroes, Natsu and Gray were separated in the Yokai Cave, thanks to Yoko and Celine's mind games and all, and they found that Natsu found that Lucy had been transformed into a Nude-onna, a sea serpent, and Wendy had been transformed into a Bakeneko, a monster cat. And also, Wendy has Happy and Carla as giant tigers to fight for her. So Gray spars a little bit with Wendy there, or more like Happy and Carla. Natsu struggles in his fight with Lucy, but eventually is forced to go into Lightning Flame Dragon mode. And when he does, we are reminded that celestial spirits don't need keys to appear in Elentier. And Lucy has just summoned a shit ton of water. And Aquarius is back. So yeah, I'm super pumped for this chapter. Chapter 75, Memories of Water. Our picture here is of a grinning Aquarius who's just gotten what looks like an early series Lucy that looks like her original outfit, like soaking wet. It's a sopping mess from time to time, but their bond lasts a lifetime. And so we open right where we left off with Aquarius re-emerged in Elentier, just kind of like gloating, that like smug grin on her face. Natsu snaps, "Aquarius!" And Lucy looks at her kind of shocked and not happy to see her, distinctly not happy to see her. So whatever positive feelings Lucy has for Aquarius have been kind of overwrit by the yokai magic. And Celine looks on, "Oh, who is that?" Fuck, what's her name? Mimi calls, "That reminds me, that girl could use yokai." But Yoko counters, "No, that's not a yokai." That was not a Yoko voice. "No, that's not a yokai." And then Hakane just kind of blushing and horny as always. "Two women for a single man? I smell a bloodbath." And then Aquarius turns to Natsu. "It looks like spirits can appear in this world without any keys." "Really?" "Stand down, Natsu. I'll handle this kid." Oh, fuck yes. Which, like, it makes sense that Natsu kind of has to leave here, given that someone has to deal with Yokai Urza. And letting Aquarius fight Lucy, that's some good old nostalgic shit. "Stand down, Natsu. I'll handle this kid." And Lucy counters, "Handle? I wouldn't say that, Aquarius." And then Aquarius just gets all angry at her. "Say, what the hell is up with your look? You trying to seduce a guy or something?" "Would you shut up?" Lucy counters. It's always like this with you." So we see, though, I kind of wondered how much of their memories are kind of overwrit by the yokaification or whatever. Because we see whatever positive feelings Lucy has towards Aquarius are clearly not there. But enough memories of Aquarius are there for her to know what Aquarius is always like. So that's a question. I don't know. Anyway, Aquarius is ready to attack. "Why don't you shut up, you little brat?" And then Aquarius just throws all this water at Lucy, catches her in a whirlpool. Natsu kind of swept away. And Mimi kind of snorts. "She said she'd handle her, but it all comes down to brute force. Good, that's the stuff." But Lucy gloats. "Sorry, but water magic doesn't work on the current me. You don't even stand a chance against me." And Aquarius responds, "Good point. Well, since it looks like you don't got that butt I'd spank every time you acted out," and we see she gets some new magic ready in her hand. "Be glad it's just your cheek." Or no, not magic. She just whacks her. Just whacks Lucy. Wah! What are you doing? And Lucy tries to whack at Aquarius. Aquarius grabs her hand. Interestingly, we can very clearly see the Fairy Tale guild mark on there. I wonder if that's probably just like, that's the hand with the guild mark on. But I can see that becoming a plot point right now, as Aquarius pointed out. Or not, as Aquarius lets go of Lucy's arm just to smack her upside the chest. "Take that!" And Natsu is just like in shock at how physical this fight has gotten. It's 100 years too early for you to beat me, and she rushes at Lucy, and Lucy counters, "Why you?" And then Aquarius hugs her. Oh boy, here's ready for some good shit. Some good emotional shit. Lucy is stunned. "Let go!" And Aquarius tells her, "Think back, Lucy." And Lucy, starts to be shocked at that. "You are a fairy tale wizard. Don't tell me you forgot about Natsu." And Lucy tries to break free. And then Celine laughs. "Ha ha ha ha! I just knew we'd get this cliche." I mean, it may be a cliche, Celine, but it's always good. Let's be real here. And then Yoko responds, "Rest easy, Celine-sama. My witchcraft cannot be broken by something like this." And then we see Aquarius still has Lucy in the hug. But we see this kind of current starts to form around them. And Lucy looks around. "Ugh, where's this current coming from?" "My water is a stream of memories. Just look. You've felt it before, haven't you? This water. This memory." And just then, all the memories come flowing back into Lucy from her as a little kid trying to play on Aquarius. Aquarius kind of gets angry at her. I think that's Lucy summoning Aquarius in the first chapter right there. I can't quite make out every single one of these moments. What I do really like, though, is that first panel is very clearly new. It's in the same art style as Ueda's art style in 100 Years Quest. But then you look at those older ones, and they're very clearly old Mashima. Especially the last one on the first row is just very clearly old Mashima. So that's a fun little note. I wish there was enough detail here, or at the very least the English dialogue I need to really make out the rest of these scenes. I can get the first one. The first one is clearly chapter 1. But beyond that, I don't know what scenes all of these are. But that's not important. The important thing is it's a reminder of the bond between Lucy and Aquarius. And then Aquarius asks, "Did you forget about our bond?" And then we see, when I'm assuming, we don't have, again, it's the text is in Japanese, but I'm assuming this is Allegria. This is the summoning of the Celestial Spirit King. Because we see, Lucy in, the flooded room, her crying, and we see Aquarius's, iconic tear-stricken face. And Lucy starts to weep, and Natsu, "Lucy!" And Yoko starts to panic. "No way!" And Lucy just cries, "Aquarius!" And then Aquarius kind of pulls her back. "You are Lucy." "Yeah. Okay. That's some good shit there. Like Celine said, it's kind of a cliche, but you know what? Sometimes a cliche because it works. I can feel, though, the Nalu fans are not going to be happy, because I feel like the Nalu fans really wanted this to be a big Nalu moment, and it's a Lucy Aquarius moment, and so I doubt they're gonna like that. But it sucks to be them. Anyway, Aquarius kind of grabs her by the shoulders. "We're friends, aren't we?" "Yeah. I'm so sorry." "There we go. That's a good girl. But I still have to punish you." Okay." And she just whacks her. "Go back to normal already, dumbass." Oh, she spanks her there, like she kind of called to earlier, while also cursing her sea serpent form. And everyone is just stunned. Natsu and Yoko especially. Celine just kind of grins. Hakane is shocked at that. She's probably thinking something sexy there. Mimi, "It's violence!" And then, Lucy kind of lands on the ground after Aquarius' spank. And then Natsu is shocked. Lucy's legs! Oh yeah, she's back to normal. On what looks like her Aquarius star dress, if I'm not mistaken. Which would make sense, because she did use aquametria in the last chapter. She sits up crying. "Why do my cheeks and butt hurt all of a sudden?" So I guess she's lost her memories of her time as the new Nureona? Okay. But Aquarius just grins at her. And then she notices Aquarius. Huh? Aquarius? And then Natsu grins. She's back to normal! And Yoko starts to panic. That's not possible. It can't be. And then Lucy turns back to Natsu. Natsu? Where are we right now? And then Aquarius interrupts. Don't worry about that. I don't need a contract or a key in this place. How about the two of us bust some heads together for old time's sake? Lucy. Oh, fuck yes. I'm excited to see Aquarius get to... I just love Aquarius. Aquarius is one of my faves. And I'm so glad she's back, even if just for an arc for now. And then Lucy looks up at Aquarius and then smiles. Yeah. Yay. I don't know how, but I got to see Aquarius. And she runs and gives Aquarius a big hug. Quit clinging to me, you little brat. Natsu banters. You were the one clinging to her just a minute ago, you know. Shut up. And then Natsu turns to her seriously. Anyway, you saved me, Aquarius. And Aquarius responds, let's get things sorted out first. You're right. I bet Gray's here, too. And then we see, back in the viewing room, they're apparently still watching Lucy's hugging Aquarius. And Yoko kind of freaks out. Why? Why did my technique? And Mimi comes over, trying to comfort her, I think. As I thought, physical attacks are incredible. And I think that's Hakune's line. That's not it at all. Oh no, that's Celine. That's not it at all. Memories, recollection, connections. That's it. Sometimes emotions can surpass magic and witchcraft. Okay. So, I have no problem with this line, but I feel like, especially if Fairy Tail were still at the place it was in its fandom, 7 or 8 years ago, that's the kind of line that would have, made people want to tear this chapter to shreds. That would have been 100 Years Quests because she's Urza. And so I'm glad the fandom is not where it was back then. Because, that's kind of always been Fairy Tail's thing, right? Anyway, Hakone kind of laughs. How interesting. And we see Yoko still just, shaking with rage. And then we check back in with Gray, who is fighting the tigers. And we see both the tigers kind of growling. We see the saliva coming out of Carla as she roars towards Gray. And Wendy kind of cheers them on. You can do it! Go get Gray-sama, Nyan! And Gray kind of grins. Sorry, Happy, Carla. Even though you look like tigers. Freeze! And he just uses some ice make magic, instantly freezes them over. And it does not work. They instantly melt the ice. What? They didn't freeze? And Carla responds, what a shame. Aye. And then Wendy chimes in. When used against spirit power, the power of ice is useless. I'm sorry. Nyan. Okay. So yeah, that's chapter 75. I love this chapter. Unabashedly love this chapter. Just seeing Aquarius again for the first time since the beginning of Alvarez, right? Or early Alvarez, when she showed up to lead Brandish on her redemption arc. She's just been gone, and Aquarius is just a delight. I love her so much. She's just an icon. And yeah, I'm just really glad that we get to see Aquarius again. For hopefully the rest of the arc, we'll just get to have a whole bunch of Aquarius here. Yeah, it's just a real feel-good chapter, reasserting the bond between Lucy and Aquarius, and perhaps in a larger narrative standpoint, is kind of setting up Lucy to find Aquarius's key throughout the next part of 100 Years Quest. We know it's in Giltena. We know Brandish is currently searching for it. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Lucy is going to win that fight. For a while, I've kind of been like, maybe we won't even get to see that in 100 Years Quest. But given Aquarius' sudden reemergence of importance here, I do think we will get to see that at some point. Get to see Lucy finding the key. Um, but yeah, honestly, I mean, it's just a really fun chapter. We see Aquarius just try to sweep her away, and then she's like, yeah, that won't work. And then she just slaps her. um, and then the hug comes in, and I just love the whole hug scene. I really do. It's just really, really sweet. And sometimes you just need a fucking sweet as hell scene. Um, and I got no complaints on the Aquarius stuff. Um, and then we see Wendy. Um, and I'm not really don't really have anything to complain about with Wendy here, but it's just kind of more setup. It's an interesting thing with the tigers is that ice doesn't work. Um, and so I'm curious about this line. When used against spirit power, the power of ice is useless. Specifically, she calls out ice. Like, if it were the power of magic is useless, I could see that. But it's specifically ice, and I wonder why. My first thought when they melted out is that they were referred to as, I think it was Suiko last chapter. Um, and so maybe, which it was translates to water tiger, it said. And so maybe as they're like water tigers, ice, which is a form of water, doesn't really work on them. Maybe, possibly, but that's not really what Wendy is implying here. Um, so I don't know. We'll have to wait till next time to find out. But anyway, this chapter is just a blast. I love me some Aquarius, and I hope she gets a lot to do before we leave Elantir. And then, yeah, let's bring on the Wendy fight. So, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!